All right, we move on to the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all, Pasadena, Utah, and Ohio State. We've got Ohio State 6.5 point favorites here, 67 the total in this game. It's actually probably one of my favorite non-playoff matchups of the entire bowl season, Utah and Ohio State. I will say this right now, there's no way I'm betting against Utah here. And now the question is, do I bet Utah? But I'm not fading them as underdogs in this game. This is a team that wanted the Rose Bowl. This is a first time ever type of situation.
Finally got there.
This is a team that, hey, sometimes the Rose Bowl is a consolation, especially for the Big Ten team, because they hope to be a playoff team. That was never in the cards for Utah. They are happy that they won the Pac-12, and they are beyond thrilled. You go from Whittingham to Cam Rising and down to the defensive players on the team. Everyone to a man for Utah. We're amped. We are fired up. We're excited beyond belief to be in the Rose Bowl. This is a big deal for the Utah football program, and I expect them to kind of play it like that in this game on New Year's Day. I expect they'll pack the place with Utes fans. I was not shocked, but incredible how well they traveled to Las Vegas for the Pac-12 championship game. They'll travel well here too. Like I say, that whole fan base is just invigorated by this Rose Bowl appearance. They're going to be into this. And look, Ohio State is definitely the better, probably better team on paper for sure. Certainly in terms of recruiting class and all that stuff and speed that they have, athleticism, both sides of the ball. You definitely have to give Ohio State that advantage for sure. As far as this game goes, look, it's the road, even for Ohio State, even though they wanted to be a playoff team and they fell short of that, you don't expect anybody to sit out this game. It's going to be, unless maybe they do have two receivers that are NFL bound, and Olave and Wilson for Ohio State. Did they maybe not play? I can't see it though. It's still the Rose Bowl. There's still some, basically there's some special aura there is about winning this game, even if you thought you'd be a playoff team and you fell short. So going to be interesting here, but I am concerned matchup wise because you look at Utah defensively. There were times against the more dynamic attacks offensively they struggled. I remember UCLA and which is kind of a comparable offense, to Ohio State, and Utah kind of struggled a little bit defensively, although a lot of their defensive struggles were early in the season. You look at the last few weeks, the two terrific games they had defensively against Oregon, they held them to 17 points in 2 games combined. So that was very impressive. And I'll take Utah's defense over Ohio State's. I still have my concerns with Ohio State's defense, and I'm concerned with their defensive line getting pushed around by Michigan in that loss they suffered to the Wolverines. You look at a Utah team that the way they run the football, they're capable of doing that too. 216 rushing yards per game, 5.6 yards per carry for the Utah offense going into this game. They're going to try to run the football a lot. And now they got the quarterback that can make plays through the air as well in Cam Rising. But I think it's going to be a lot of, a guy like Tavion Thomas running the football here for Utah in this game. He certainly had some big explosive performances throughout the course of the year. And we saw Michigan pushing around that Ohio State defensive front in that win for Michigan. Again, the first loss Ohio State's had against Michigan in a very long time. I can't get that out of my mind. That defensive line was pushed around by Michigan. The one thing about Kyle Whittingham, Utah teams, Conor, strong in the trenches, both sides of the football. This, Ohio State's going to have, I think, their hands full in this matchup. And right now, it's been plus the points for me, plus 6.5 with Utah. If I'm going to get involved in this one, should be a good one, the Rose Bowl. One of the ones I'm looking forward to the most for sure. Conor, what do you think here, Rose Bowl game?
Yeah, how can you not? It's the granddaddy of them all. It's always my favorite. 100,000 people there. Utah will travel well, like you talked about. And Ohio State, you got to still, even after that loss, you got to regroup. It still is the Rose Bowl. It kind of, will be a good year if they win it. One thing with Utah, they got off their back. They got to the Rose Bowl. They've had problems. I think they beat Bama one year or some years, like 10 years ago in a bowl game, but they have struggled in some of these big-time bowl games. They got their ass whipped, Utah, in the past years. But they beat Oregon. I like Cam Rising. I like the defense, but I think Ohio State scores on them. I think we kind of get in a little back and forth affair here. I like the points here too. I've been a Utah backer all year long, so watching both schools tight, I like it. I like the points here. I kind of wait. I know it was 7. It's dropped to 6.5. I don't know if it moves. You can get a 7, but I think Utah's in this one. I think they want to be there. Like you said, there'll be a ton of fans. Of course, Ohio State fans will travel as well. So this one should be fun, and there should be points. I don't know if it gets over, but there should be points.
Yeah, it seems like it's obviously a perfectly acceptable total, 65.5 for Ohio State game. But for Utah, it seems like a high total. But the way I look at it, I think the over might still get there because I think
Maybe.
Utah might be able to push around Ohio State with that power run game, just like Michigan did. And Cam Rising's good enough with the run game working. That opens everything up down the field for Cam Rising as well. And he can run with the football as well. That could totally open up everything for Utah's offense. But on the flip side, with CJ Stroud, and especially if, the entire receiving core is intact and they play in this game, the speed at receiver could be problematic for Utah's defense because they have not seen a lot of that. There's dynamic, explosive passing games, these terrific NFL-bound receivers. There's not been a bunch of those type of teams on Utah's schedule in terms of what their defense has had to face. So this could be one of those games that does turn into a shootout because I think there's offensive advantages for both of these teams here in this game.